You're working tomorrow?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we're open from like 11 to 6 or something.
Ah. Well, welcome to Crippled System.
Yeah.
Episode 223. The last Crippled System.
Ever.
Yeah.
Of 2017.
Of 2017.
Let me pause this.
There's a lot of
figured it
silence
out.
here.
No, I figured out how to pause.
So how much battery life do you have on that thing? I should note to our
not
audio
much.
listeners that Nathan is playing his Switch.
It's been plugged in for the last 3 days. Like, that's the nice thing is when you turn it into a home console, that's the charging station as well.
Yeah.
And then the Joy-Cons, as they call the remote controls, they charge off of the base unit when you have it in portable mode like this.
Okay. Do you have like the extra controller that you can hook the Joy-Cons into to make it a
comes with a
super
crappy
control?
one of those. But
Okay.
most people buy a nicer one. The one it comes with is really small.
Okay.
So they're very cramped together if you use that.
Or you can just get one single controller that's...
Yeah. Yeah.
They also, it comes with, when you take these off, so they're like open on the one side because that's where it slides in, it comes with these covers that slide on that end to make them a little bigger and easier to hold.
Oh, sure. Sure.
And those are what have the strap on them as well, because you see there's no strap on these.
It's always good to play with your Switch without strap-ons.
That is true. Then you can...
Nintendo's a big fan of the strap-ons.
I told Brian an advantage of the Switch for people like him and I is that there's twice as many controllers to throw.
Yeah. Yeah, but
I mean, if you've got the strap, you can have the sensation of throwing it, but still not.
It just
really.
limply swings down off of my wrist.
Yeah, and you can do that a couple of times in rapid succession.
It's true. You do with the two of them.
Yeah.
So how much Switch time are you going to be getting in during the ATC?
A lot. Probably not, actually. I need to find there was somebody who last year told me that if he wasn't busy that year, he would do data entry monkey work at the counter. You know, so
Sure.
Travis and I could be out there for judge calls. I'll see if that person holds true on their promise.
Oh, well, should we call him all by name then?
That was James.
Oh, okay. Wait,
I haven't-
James?
Yeah. From Pegasus. He said that he would help and do like data entry and stuff.
Oh.
But I'd probably have to get him a hotel room. Don't mean to make him
Oh,
pay.
it is 2 days, isn't it? For sure.
Well, we're going out Friday and staying, so I'm staying there 3 days. But yeah, it's Saturday and Sunday. It is next weekend.
No, weekend after next.
Weekend after next.
No, it's next weekend. It's not this weekend,
No.
so it's next weekend.
Oh, God damn it. We're going through this argument again. It's not this coming weekend.
It's not this coming weekend.
Right, it's next weekend. It's next Saturday. It's not this Saturday, is it? It's next Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah, but a
Next-
weekend covers
Yes.
2
No,
days.
there are two things there. It's next Saturday.
We're still technically
but
on
it's
Sunday,
the weekend
which
after
is we're
next.
still on.
No.
We're still on this
we're
weekend.
still on this weekend.
Yeah.
It's next weekend, not this coming weekend. It's the 13th,
There you go. That's a much better way of saying
which
it.
is next weekend.
No. No, he's
So you're saying next Saturday is not next weekend? Next Saturday's this weekend?
no.
No.
That's what you're saying?
No. That's not
No,
what
no,
we're
no. Weekend is
saying. This
weekend is different.
This weekend is yesterday and today.
What
Next-
weekend is next Saturday?
which date?
No. What weekend is next Saturday?
Well, this coming Saturday is the 6th.
Right?
Next Saturday, then, would be the 13th.
So what weekend is next Saturday?
The weekend after next.
So this Saturday is next weekend?
Yes.
How you can't have non-matching adjectives like that?
Yes, because weekend and Saturday are not equivalent concepts.
Pshaw. Pshaw and kerfuffle.
I mean, for that to be absolutely true, Saturday and weekend would have to be equivalent. That they're not equivalent implies that you can't assert that there's continuity there.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be like next Christmas is this December or some weird shit like that.
That can't work.
Well, it can. Maybe. I don't know. Next December is this Christmas?
No.
Is this Christmas next December?
No.
That's the Christmas that is
You-
coming next.
You turn to your left and argue with David because he's a better person at doing this than I am.
This
see.
Christmas is next December?
Yeah.
No, it isn't. Next Christmas is next December.
Then next.
Schmuck.
We're still in December.
Yesterday was yeah, but we're still in this weekend.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I'm
so
saying.
So next weekend,
Yes.
Yesterday,
the weekend after this one
Yes.
that we're currently on,
We are in this weekend is yesterday and today.
Nah.
Next weekend is the 6th and the 7th, and then the weekend after next is the 13th and the 14th.
my name is Nathan, and I currently play Reveal Nilfgaard.
no Mulligan Scoia'tael.
We're still doing that. It's just they introduced daily quests. Like they used to just have daily, like do X number of. It was always win 6 rounds, and then win 12, win 18, or whatever. But with the most recent patch, they introduced like random quests, like win 5 ranked matches, or win 3 matches as Nilfgaard, win 5 matches as monsters,
Sure.
whatever, kind of like Hearthstone has. So now you really have to make a deck for each faction, or else just have quests sitting in your quest log, clogging it up. Because you can't just reject a quest.
You can't get rid of them
You can't. You can only
Oh.
get rid of them by beating them currently.
because that was how Hearthstone. You can at least get rid of one of your quests.
Yeah, you
to
can't.
reassign
Once you
a new
have
one.
3 unbeaten quests, they just fill up your quest log, and you never get another quest till you beat one of them.
That's
So-
kind of bleh.
Well, they rolled out this patch and then went on vacation for Christmas.
Yeah.
So and there's some bugs and shit. Like right now, unfortunately, there's a lot of bugs in Hearthstone or Gwent. So hopefully they fix it when they get back. But the point is, I always kind of wanted to check out Reveal Nilfgaard because it's the least effective Nilfgaard deck, and I like to play the least effective things.
Sure.
Because I'm an idiot. And so, yeah. There's my boy Voorhees is the good leader for Reveal, and I love Voorhees. He and I went on a date in Witcher 3, and it was great.
My name's Dave, and I have strong opinions about semantics.
All right, and you're wrong.
My name is Andy, and I play Blacksmiths. I play Kador.
Blacksmiths?
Blacksmiths, Kador, and Friday the 13th.
I also play Kador.
Play a lot of Friday
I
the
thought
13th.
you were a Dead by Dawn guy. You were being all contrarian, and you were all about Dead by Dawn.
No, I wanted them to play Dead by Dawn, but they don't want to play Dead by Dawn. I like the mechanics for escape better in Friday the 13th, better than Dead by Dawn. Dead by Dawn is too much. I hate fucking mini games. I hate little hit on the beat type mini games.
Sure.
I can't do those. Your Revenge of the Necrodancer game or whatever it is, I would never be able to play that. I have no rhythm in my body, and I can't function like that. So it's bad enough that I can actually function slightly in Friday the 13th, but a lot of times I'm just staring at the little thing going around. I'm like, and then Jason's next to me because I fucked it up. But that's what Dead by Daylight is all about, is those little stupid timing mini games
Sure.
to start up the generators. I mean, I think Brian and Chris would actually like it because it's got Michael Myers in it. It has Freddy Krueger in it, with some kind of neat mechanics for them too. It's got a whole bunch of villains in there.
Friday the 13th does need to get Pamela Voorhees. It's a shame that they don't have her as one of the selectable.
They teased they didn't actually say what it was, but they mentioned that they were adding a paranoia version of Friday the 13th. So I'm curious if that is if that is a Friday the 13th Part 9 version, where Jason is actually possessing somebody, and you have to jump around bodies. Which would be kind of interesting, because then you don't know where Jason is because he's in somebody else's body.
Right. Sure.
So
All of a sudden, one of the teenagers is stabbing people.
yeah, they're adding the Grendel. I don't know if you heard about that.
Like from Beowulf.
No, the Grendel, as in the spaceship,
Oh, gotcha.
as in Uber Jason is making an appearance.
That's awesome.
Is the first thing I said that I wanted in that stupid game was
Yeah.
I want Uber Jason, and Uber Jason is being added. He was just in the the latest patch that they had,
And so with Uber Jason and 8-Bit Jason, that really is pretty much every Jason, isn't it?
well, they are also adding little kid Jason.
Okay then, all right.
Little kid Jason. They still haven't added Roy, who is in part 5. Is it part 5? Yeah, I think it's part 5.
But he's not a Jason.
He's not a Jason, but he's
He's
a
a
guy
Friday
with,
the 13th killer.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, that's just like with Pamela. You're kind of splitting. Do they need to have every film's villain or just all the Jasons is?
I think all the Jasons would be just fine. It'd be great if you start off with Jason and Carbonite and frozen in the
Sure,
in
the
Grendel.
first half of the match he's just there,
Yeah.
and he can't do anything, and then he breaks out and just fucks everything.
Yeah. Oh my God. I can't wait for Uber Jason. I was very excited when I saw he was announced. Well, he was part of the virtual cabin experience. Part of it, they just added that, which is kind of it's like a puzzle game. You just walk around, look at objects in that, and it's kind of like a Myst in a way where you're kind of putting things.
Was it
here
like
and
a
there.
single player mode or something? Oh, that's neat.
They actually also added a single player Jason mode as well
To practice?
So you can take on a bunch of bots, a bunch
Oh, that's
of,
cool.
Yeah.
which is
I didn't know they had done that.
Yep, that was just that last patch that they did.
It's been too long since I've played that, apparently.
Yep, I'm much better with Jason now. I have confidence when I go killing, and that's basically it for my.
And I play Overwatch poorly.
Do you play PC or do you?
PC.
I barely ever see you. When I log in, I usually have at least my BattleNet running. I see you like once in a while.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the term is. Like Great
Occasionally.
Moon, yeah.
Infrequently.
Infrequently, yes.
Rarely.
Well, ping me if you see me. Also, I would like to just try to get some sort of group of like Heroes of the Storm running.
Oh.
Because I enjoy that game when I'm not playing with idiots, and unfortunately,
So you don't want to play with us then?
I just go AI because I'm just farming for boxes, and
Yeah.
and to be perfectly honest, and I know Brian has a big thing against playing against AI, but to me, I want to win. I want to play the game, and generally when I go against real players, in that late game when you get eliminated, you're just staring at that screen for a minute and a half, and you're doing nothing. And that's no fucking fun. I would much rather just mow over every single opponent I go over. And if it's AI,
feels good.
well,
It's fun. Yeah. Yeah,
I feel like I'm
useful.
useful.
Like Marshall and I were playing against AI a whole bunch when I was playing a couple months ago again.
Yeah.
Let me rephrase though. I don't like playing with idiots I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I'll play Heroes of the Storm again when they have a Lost Vikings announcer pack because it is a travesty. It is inexcusable. It's the only announcer pack where you could have the color commentator and the straight guy. Like you can have conversations. That's amazing.
Did you know that? Well, as I know for only one character so far, if you play with, oh god damn it, I forgot his name. The goblin that has the little mech on his back.
Nazebo? No, that's the necromancer. That's the
Gazlo.
witch doctor.
Gazlo.
Gazlo, yeah.
If you have Gazlo and you have Gazlo as the announcer, Gazlo points out there's like, oh, look at that little bee down there, which is kind of
Adorable.
But nothing that actually, all you need is Brightwing as your announcer, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean,
That's all
sure.
you need. You don't need any other announcer for that game.
It'll stop hurting when you're dead. It's a great Brightwing quote. No, come on, man. The Lost Vikings would be so legit as an announcer pack. Inexcusable.
They need to expand on their arcade, their old Blizzard arcade characters, because I mean Blackthorn could easily be in that.
The Lost Vikings the only...
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the only Diablo /Warcraft /StarCraft
Yep.
/Overwatch. That's a shame.
Yep. I mean, it's
To be fair, Blizzard has not made that many games outside of the craft games in Overwatch.
Sure.
Blizzard has this habit of making amazing games when they do them, but they don't make very many of them.
Right. Yeah.
and they live off the games for a long time.
Yeah.
Or their sequels, because like StarCraft and then StarCraft 2.
Diablo 2 had patches for 12 years, I think.
Yeah. They had it up until I think 2016. I think that was one of the last patches they put out for it.
Yeah.
I think it's I think there's still people who still play it on BattleNet.
Sure.
Yeah.
I enjoyed my dentist.
Um,
The when they introduced the synergies between skills, where like having points in one skill would make another skill passively stronger and everything, there was a build you could do for the Necromancer that was you use teeth as your main skill, because with the synergies built into that thing, it was broken as fuck because it wasn't damage typed at all. So even in like Nightmare in Hell difficulty, nothing got bonus resistance to it, and so you still just tore through everything. And you could sing Steve Martin songs the entire time.
I just noticed that somebody had asked probably a long time ago, but I've got Omnom in my way, so I can't see anything. Like, when did Freddy get added to Dead by Daylight? And that was a while ago. But he has a special ability. Basically, he puts people to sleep, and then that's when he can actually do damage to them. And then you have to have your other players go up and wake them up in order to pull them away from Freddy.
Sure.
It's kind of a different mechanic for that game.
Well, yeah. I mean, so that seems similar to, from what I've seen, you showed me of Dead by Daylight. Pretty much all of the killers, you grab somebody, you put them on some kind of a gigaw, and then you wander off, and they get rescued, and then you wash, rinse, and repeat.
Yeah,
and then you lose
until they open up enough the machines so they can actually open up the door.
In Friday the 13th, when you're Jason and there's a teenager, you stab them and then they're dead. In Dead by Daylight, you stab them and then you carry them and then you put them on a hook, and then 15 minutes later, when they're almost halfway dead, their friends rescue them anyway. Mm-hmm. Okay, just making sure that was how the gameplay worked.
Yeah, there's only two ways to escape in Dead by Daylight, and that is either running all the generators and then running out the exit, or being the last one alive and finding the trapdoor. And that's how you get out of there. As compared to Friday the 13th, which is, you can escape by boat, you can escape by car, you can escape by four-door car, you can escape by calling the cops, and the cops rescue, or just survive 20 minutes.
Yeah. I guess that my point is that there just seems to be less player full-on elimination in Dead by Daylight. It seems much easier to survive. Like you don't just die. Like, you have a chance to get rescued.
Yeah, you have to be put on the hook so many times before... Or, as the killer, you could just sit there and camp the hook, too, and just wait for the person to finally
Right, and then everyone just lets that guy die, and they go and fix all the
other generators
in the meantime. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well. But, hey, we all saw Star Wars.
Yes.
We did see Star Wars. Well, I want to talk about announcements real quick, because we had the ATC that's coming up on the...
Soon.
13th and
the
14th.
Second weekend of January 2018.
Yes.
Yes.
I had to try to think. I was like, wait a second. January 1st is... Oh, no, it's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. The ATC will be next year.
Correct. We are not having another one this year. We will have it sometime next year.
Yes.
So I think list lock isn't it?
Tomorrow.
List lock is end of day tomorrow.
Yep. So if you have your lists there, you need to get them in.
You do. And some people were confused because there was confusion, and that's why people would be confused. That's called redundancy. Some websites claim that the Blind Water box was coming out on the 12th. And so we were like, okay, if it's coming out the 12th, that means it'll be legal. And then it turns out the official street date is the 19th. So the Blind Water box and all of its contents are not usable at the ATC, which is why if you're trying to put them into your lists, you can't. And that's not a glitch. You're not allowed to. So change your list.
What's in the Blind Water box? Is it like Quack and Quiddo? And
probably. I don't know. Some alligator shit.
Yeah.
But Barnabas 2 should be available because he's on the 13th on that Wednesday.
I have an email where somebody was listing the things that they could not add, so I'll look in that and it'll tell me what kinds of things are in it.
Yeah, it's off the top of my head, it's Quack and Gub.
Gators go quack, I'm sorry, alligator. Jesus Christ,
Ducks go quack.
Fucking A.
Ducks also fly in formation.
You know, when they're in a V shape and one side's longer than the other, do you know why that is?
I do, actually.
Yeah.
I do. Do you know, David?
No.
There's more ducks.
There's more ducks on that side, or geese on that side.
But yeah, it's the bone. It's the bone shrine and
bone shrine, a soul slave, and a void leech. And Quack, Slick Spine, and Gub.
Yeah.
Those are the examples this player had. That may or may not be an exhaustive list. Also, there's somebody with a pyramid head modification to a Skin and Moans that we cleared. Although I was offended because the pyramid, to me, did not seem to be the right proportions. But
It needs to be like it looks. It has to look like it's broken the neck of the.
oh
the
no,
model
it's
that's-
huge. It's
Oh, it
huge.
is?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
huge. It just seemed to be. I don't know. Maybe it's because I saw the movie more recently than I played one of the games. But it seemed blockier. Like it wasn't very long and sharp. It was very wide. But maybe that is game accurate. It's been a while since I played Silent Hill 2.
Darnan on the chat says that the Volume of our box is early release for the Bone Shrines and Void Leeches. This is correct. The issue is that some places are reporting the release date as January 12th. However, Privateer Press's website has it listed as January 19th. And per direction from Nathan and Travis, that is the date we're using for eligibility for the ATC.
Because we don't know. Like even if the 19th is wrong and it does come out on the 12th. We can't be sure of that, right? And so what happens is if we trust the 12th date and it doesn't come out till the 19th, what the fuck we do? So we're not going to risk that. We have two disputing ones, and the latter of the two, the 19th, is the one from Privateer. So we're not only playing it safe, we're also just going by the official date.
Yeah.
And Travis said that, and it was purple, so it goes.
Yeah. I don't give a shit what color his name is.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
He
It's
can
like
get
every
purple
day-
all the fuck he wants. He still has to talk to me about this stuff.
Travis can't. He can't just go up to like the NV and like I need my license now. I'm an infernal.
Yeah.
He doesn't get preferential treatment outside of PP's world.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a PP question.
No, it's an ATC question.
Yeah.
And I didn't make him purple.
Yep. Nathan, could I be an infernal for the ATC?
You get a Puce name.
A Puce name?
Yeah, you're Puce. You got Puce power. Puce is good.
It's not purple.
I learned Puce from Santa Claus the movie with I'm blanking on his name, the guy from Third Rock and Dexter.
Lithgow?
John Lithgow. Yeah, because there's like lollipops that made kids fly or something, and it was Puce.
Oh.
I don't remember anything else about the plot of that movie except for that. Oh, and Santa has to do a loop-de-loop to save the day. I swear to God, this is all true. Or none of it's true, and it's some fever dream I had when I was 6 years old.
It's quite possible. Speaking of 6 years old, Jason from his wonderful bucket fame on the podcast, he actually finally watched Gremlins for the first time.
You never see Gremlins? He's
Never
like
saw
in his
Gremlins.
40s.
Yeah. And that movie is definitely not a kid's film. It's a kid's film, but not a kid's film at the same time. Like some adults may not like the film because it has a lot of really, really goofy stuff in it that kids do like, but it has a lot of dark tones in there.
It's Don Bluthian, right?
Don Bluth and
Don Bluth is freaking All Dogs Go to Heaven, Secret of Nim.
Okay,
Sword in
yes.
the Stone.
No, Sword in the Stone is Disney. Oh well, yeah, but I mean,
Bluth.
but it was still a Disney film, and you
Yeah.
can tell because nobody dies a brutal death during it. Like people aren't on fire. Like American Tail.
Yeah.
Don Bluth. Oh, Land Before Time.
Yeah.
Well, I'll keep saying Don Bluth and then remembering other films. But the point is, he had a thing where his films were dark and scary.
Sure.
And just murder and fire and hatred and chaos, and then they'd have a sunshiny rainbow at the very end. And that's what he said is like kids are. You can do anything to them as long as you give them a happy ending.
Sure.
In your movie. Like, you can scare the shit out of them. You can kill characters. As long as at the end everybody's singing and dancing, the kids will be fine.
all right.
That was his stance, and that's why Don Bluth films are freaky as shit.
Did he actually have a hand in that in Gremlins, or it's
No,
just, or
but
it's
I'm
just
just
in
saying
that
it
style?
feels
Yeah.
that way where, it's like, oh, it's a kid movie. Look at the old lady get brutally murdered. Look at the people get eaten. Look at these things melt. And here's your happy ending.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah. Well, the happy ending isn't. It's not that much of a happy ending. It's just an old man walking into basically
a matte
the moon.
painting.
Yeah, into a matte painting. Yeah, I mean, like the unnecessary story about how they learned that Santa Claus doesn't exist.
I wonder
Oh
how
my
many
God.
people learned that Santa Claus wasn't real through listening to her story about learning that Santa Claus isn't real.
Yeah, I just watching it again. I'm like, yeah, there's just a lot of questionable things that now I know why I slept with the lights on for like 2 weeks after Gremlins. Why I jumped from my bed to so they wouldn't grab me.
You know the interesting trivia about Stripe, the evil character in Gremlins?
Yeah, well, I know that like the one thing it was supposed to be that they were all supposed to be Mogwais throughout the whole thing. That Gizmo actually turns into a gremlin.
There was no Stripe in the original script.
Yeah.
Everything that happens in the film that's Gizmo the whole time. And they decided
No.
that was too traumatic for children, so they made the Stripe character so that the villain wouldn't have to be Gizmo himself. Also, who designs a tiny remote control car with apparently a functioning engine and a gas and brake pedal that work inside of the tiny remote control car?
It's amazing.
That's a neat
I
toy.
think you're overthinking this.
There's a couple of things like that too. Yeah. Like every single gremlin was watching this the Seven Dwarfs. Every single one, except for one.
Except for one.
Except for one. I will say though that every single
sequel.
time within the last year they had some insurance commercial or something like that was playing the Hi Ho song from Snow White. I can't hear that song without hearing the gremlins singing along with it. Like I hear that and then it just immediately goes into the yeah.
That's one of those films. The third one, they continue to claim that it's coming out eventually.
Oh, the
Like
new
it just-
Gremlins.
Gremlins 3 will not die.
Yeah.
Like Sean Astin, like last year, said he was still tied to it and would be in it and stuff.
Did you ever see the Key and Peele sketch for Gremlins 2?
No.
I'll have to show it
Although
to
I
you
do love
after this.
Gremlins 2 and I do love Key and Peele, so I'm sure I will enjoy it.
We'll have to make sure we make a note of it to watch it after this.
Underappreciated sequel.
It's entertaining as hell. All right, Las Vegas.
You said announcements.
Yeah, there's another announcement here. We got the Las Vegas Open. That is happening. Oh, somebody's posted something on my Facebook walls.
Announcement, somebody posted something on Andy's Facebook wall.
Yay! Tabletop Gaming Convention, January 26th through the 28th at Bally's Casino over in Las Vegas.
Ooh, beautiful Las Vegas. Nevada.
Beautiful Las Vegas. I know that there is a ton of games going on right now.
Check out the
through
Bellagio
there.
fountains while you're there.
Yeah. And it won't be as crowded right now considering it'll be 3 weeks after New Year's.
But I mean, isn't the dead of winter the best time to go to the desert?
Maybe not. That gets cold at night.
It sucks. I was in the military, or I was in the Army, and I was stationed for training outside of Las Vegas in the Mojave Desert,
Yeah.
and that sucked. It was in the middle of December because I would wake up in the morning with water that was like next to me, like a canteen of water. It would be frozen.
Yeah, I've never been up to Vegas, but I've spent a lot of time in Tucson, and I always thought Tucson was absolutely beautiful in January and miserable most of the rest of the year.
Yeah, but it's a dry heat.
So is fire.
Yeah. But the Las Vegas Open War Machine, he has an event list that's on a Facebook page. Privateer Press will be there with their store and playing games. If you have any questions, friend of the podcast, you can email Tyson Cook on Facebook or send him an email at tyson@figurepainters.com. Tyson actually designed up an amazing looking, I think it's like a foot tall Elvis statue.
Yeah.
An Elvis in power armor statue. Looks awesome. But anyway, you should check out the LVO. It is a good time. I wish I could go. I unfortunately cannot go this year. So we should probably talk about the last of something. I don't think anybody out there in the real world knows what Nathan thinks of The Last Jedi besides Raylene and maybe personal friends. Because I don't think Nathan has said to anybody what he thinks of this, and I think he's been saving it for potentially this conversation here.
So are we in the spoiler zone now?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Spoiler alert. Anybody still listening, if you haven't seen the movie, go out and see it now because it's good.
It's okay.
It's good.
It's all right.
Good.
I didn't hate it. So it is. I enjoyed it in general, except there are 2 or 3 things that bug the shit out of me and will bug me forever. I know that that's what always happens to Nathan with everything, but it committed my number 1 biggest sin when you write any story whatsoever.
Sure.
And it infuriated me, which I hate when the entire conflict of a story can be solved if I just like turn to David and go, oh, I'm next Thursday, not this coming Thursday, next Thursday. That's when we have to go. And you'll go, oh, okay, cool, never mind, my mistake. And then everything's solved.
We just had an argument about that earlier.
Or, oh, no, sweetie, that was my sister. She's visiting. I wasn't cheating on that. Was my sister. Sorry. Oh, okay, my bad. I misunderstood. Aren't we happy? And then the fucking plot's solved. But the only reason the characters don't have that conversation is because if they do, the writer doesn't know how to make a plot happen.
Well,
and that infuriates me.
I think it could be you're talking about basically Poe and
Admiral McPurple
and
can
Admiral
say,
McPurple.
She doesn't have to, because I understand you're worried, right? You're being tracked, and that's weird. So maybe there's a traitor in your midst. Maybe you're worried. So you know what? You go, hey, I'm not going to tell you anything because I'm worried. But I know you're a valued member of your crew, and I want you to put your mind at ease. We do have a plan. We're working on a plan. I can't share it with you. I'm sure you can understand why, but trust me, we are working on something.
I think she pretty much said that all the time. She was saying, "We have a plan. We have a plan," and you are no longer. I mean, basically, all Poe Dameron is just he's a hotshot pilot.
Sure,
he is. Arguably their best pilot, but he's not really on a need to know basis.
That was my biggest complaint with the movie is that. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of suspension of disbelief, but Poe Dameron should have spent most of the film in the brig.
Also, outside of the umbrella of Luke, Rey, and Kylo, so outside of those 3 characters, nothing anyone ever does anything.
Yeah.
Everything fails always.
I like it. I like that.
If it's about failure, it's just like, oh, look, that didn't work. Oh, that didn't work.
I like how you find. I like how they. I mean, granted, the casino sequence is
very
a little
prequelish.
Very prequelish. But at the same time, they meet up with somebody who seems like they're going to be. It's going to be a new Han Solo. This is great. And then, nope, he just fucks them over completely. Which,
sure.
I like. It's very similar.
And if you umbrella the terrible Laura Dern character, if you say that that's her failing as a commander, she failed to do this or whatever, okay, I mean, I can get that, and that kind of forgives it a little. It just, for me personally, that is my like, a lot of people hate It Was All a Dream. Sure. I don't hate It Was All a Dream as much as I hate if 2 people had a 30-second conversation, all the problems are instantly resolved.
Yeah, no, I agree. I felt for me it was more of a commander talking to a pilot saying, "We have it under control," and he's like, "Well, I mean, I see it as a ranking issue more of than 2 people that are in a D&D campaign and are talking, because that's kind of what Star Wars kind of is. It's basically all the characters coming together, and then they're all going on adventures together.
I think my biggest problem with that isn't that nobody explained it to Poe, but that when he was getting up in everyone's face, that they didn't just throw him in the brig for the rest of the film.
I mean that was kind of defied orders to go take out basically. Yes, they had a chance to take out a dreadnought. But he defied orders, cost the lives of a lot of people.
Committed mutiny.
Everyone dies because of Poe.
Yeah.
And part of it, so my Japanese brother is chatting from the future. How's next year, Adam? And are you sober yet? Or were those just... There's no way somebody does 2 typos in the Hoffman family if they're not drunk. Anyway, so... I wish Abrams had done anything else, and this is too late. This is going back to Episode 7, and I even liked Episode 7, so maybe this is unfair to put on Episode 8's shoulders, but I wish this new trilogy hadn't have done the lazy reset button. I would have been more interested with the rebellion, the Republic, still being in charge and having the bad guys be different. You know what I mean? Like, that's one of the great things about the Thrawn trilogy, is that Thrawn is smaller. He's only got a few ships. He's against this entire nation, this entire government now, and so he has to stick and move. He's like an insurgency. He's like an ISIS kind of thing in space, instead of being, oh, well, no, they're hey, look, good guys are the small ragtag rebels again. And even like episode 7, people are like, how? That doesn't make sense. And they're like, read some press releases. It'll make sense. They're ragtag again, and these other guys are in charge again. How?
I think your brother is drunk.
He says the Packers fire Ted Thompson, which if that happens, that means 2018 will be my favorite year. If McCarthy and Thompson are on the unemployment line, I'll be so happy.
Oh,
Yeah, all right.
Fire McCarthy.
We have predictions from Japan that the Packers fire McCarthy and Thompson. Let me know how that whole we legally have to release Aaron Rodgers thing turns out, Adam. Did you see that whole kerfuffle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So dumb.
Yeah, well, I mean, basically, apparently, legally, they have to, but the Packers are like, no, well, we're not going to see what happens.
Yeah, they're like, shut up. But yeah, so like, yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, I will say it probably was, I mean, not counting the prequels, because they're all terrible. So, so I guess even if you count the prequels, whatever, it's my 5th favorite Star Wars film. I like the entire original trilogy and Episode 7 better than this.
I like Rogue. They add Rogue One to that. You like Rogue One more than this one or not?
I probably like Rogue One, but no, I like this one better just because I really liked the Rey, Kylo, and Luke story.
I think I haven't seen it a second time yet, and that's what I was asking what you were doing tomorrow. I think I need to see it a second time because from most of the people that I've seen talk about it, say it the second time is so much better.
It might be. Also, my second time might not have a 70-year-old autistic woman in the row in front of me shrieking the whole time.
Oh.
That might also help things.
Oh,
Yeah.
that sucks. Well, I mean,
good for her.
happens.
Come see the movie.
Yeah.
But
It looked like the theater was completely empty though too.
it was, except for like those 2 people.
Oh man.
Yeah,
And in fairness, actually, I don't even think she was autistic. I think she just had no semblance. Like, she was one of those talk to the screen people, and it was way too loud, and she talked to the person next to her. I'm like, yeah, good. The movie theater's pretty empty, and you're like 2 rows away, so you can talk to them, and I shouldn't be able to hear you. If I can hear you as well as I can hear, like, as we are right now, that's just you being an asshole.
Yeah. But what I liked, and there was a great article that I saw that Keith posted, and I saw a lot of people share that same article too, which is this episode 8 doesn't care doesn't care about how much you like Star Wars.
Sure.
Or it was a title that was similar to that. Basically,
Right.
you go in there with expectations of a lot of things. You're expecting, a big training montage with Luke and Rey, and that doesn't happen.
it kind of so much of it really felt like that Episode 7 followed a lot of the tropes from the original trilogy, and then Episode 8 went from there. And it's like, okay, so now you're expecting this because we started off stuff that follows what happened in the previous trilogy pretty well, and we're just going to go in completely different directions.
Yeah.
Like, I absolutely love the throne room scene because you would, given the previous throne room scenes, there were a lot of expectations loaded up for it, and I really like that it went in a different direction.
My brother's listing many things he hated about the film right now, and I will grasp onto one of them, which is the humor. And I will say that, like, I didn't really like much, if any, of the humor in this one. A lot of the jokes did fall flat to me.
Yeah, a little. I mean, it did start off with kind of a funny whole joke at the beginning. If that was in any other movie, I think it would have been great, but it just didn't feel right.
Like, if that's Tony Stark in a Marvel film, I'm okay with it. If that's, it just wasn't Star Wars-y to me. I don't know.
I mean, I do think the movie would have been better if every scene with Poe Dameron in it was not in the movie. I mean,
he was supposed to die last movie, so
yeah.
That
that was one of the things that occurred to me as I was leaving. It's like, maybe it would have been for the better if he did.
When that first Nebula B ran out of fuel, why didn't they just have that thing fucking warp straight through the capital ship? That's apparently a really good plan.
Yeah.
Like, that one guy just dies. First of all, why does a guy need to stay behind to pilot the ship while it runs out of gas? It's in space. It'll do its own business. Like, what is he steering?
It seems like space in Star Wars works differently than normal space.
Okay, even if it's not space,
Well-
like if there's a plane that's going to run out of fuel,
Yeah.
does somebody have to stay at the controls to help it crash? Just
don't-
fucking parachute, buddy.
They don't have duct tape in Star Wars.
Right? Just, you can go ahead and parachute. Yeah, so I don't know why people have to stay behind on the ships that are blown up. That doesn't make any sense. But if the 9/11ing straight through the capital ship works so well, they could have done it with that first medical frigate.
Or the first one that ran out of gas.
Yeah, just turn around, blast straight through, problem solved.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, this is one of my pet peeves is when people take a science fiction movie and start talking about the physics in it.
No,
Because-
that's not even physics.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that wouldn't work. Because the physics of it says you do that with an X-Wing, you blow up a planet. Like, the physics of it, that's fucked
Yeah.
up. I'm saying, like, once you put those physics in there, you don't get to hand wave away why it's never been there before.
Well, I mean, to be fair, at the same, if you look at the actual physics behind it, what happened when they rammed the ship was just a fraction of what would happen in reality.
Correct, yeah.
So I mean, clearly the reason they don't the reason they don't do this is because whatever version of physics the Star Wars universe works in means that this isn't actually as good of a tactic as it would seem in reality.
Well, it was way better than just getting shot and blowing up.
oh yeah.
Or just
So, I
eventually
mean-
just running out of gas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I understand trying to run, but the very first one that ran out of gas should have turned around and done that the first time. And then if they missed, then the second one that ran out of gas should have done it again. Like, that's apparently something that you should just do.
Yeah. There was also something that somebody had mentioned too that disappointed them after they saw that sequence in there. Is like, well, the Millennium Falcon jumps to light speed when it's in a docking bay of a ship in episode 7. And it did because they made the trajectory happen where they wouldn't hit the ship
Right.
as they went out. So
That
I mean,
wasn't some, like, light speed makes things blow up. That was
No.
a physical impact. It was
Correct.
just at such a high speed. So that's not. It did almost have something that I've desperately wanted for 8-9 movies now. They had a capital ship blow up another capital ship with its guns. And I was happy to finally fucking see a capital ship die to being blown up with guns. It was not a broadsides, though, but that's all right. I'll survive. Hopefully we'll get that in episode 9.
I don't think we needed to have the stupid dreadnought either. I mean, Star Destroyers are what they're supposed to be. They're just they're Star Destroyers. They're a massively awesome ship, and they've
need
just
bigger,
been
better
scaled down this entire time. Basically, they're just like they're Corellian cruisers now.
Could have been a Super Star Destroyer. Then you stick with something that's in the...
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, people have said that, well, you have the same thing with Starkiller Base and that the Empire keeps building Death Stars. But
You're right.
This is what, but I mean, this is an organization focusing on core competencies, and their core competency is building really fucking big guns.
I'm calling Adam out on this one. Adam, in the Star Wars RPG that we had as kids, one of the force powers you could get as a Jedi was the ability to survive in a vacuum. It was in the player guide.
and that's not to say that part of that where she was floating at that time could have been inside the shields of the ship itself.
Even if it's not, she's a fucking Skywalker. She can do what she
Exactly.
wants.
And
And she's had
latent
20 years.
force abilities in Empire Strikes Back.
And in 7 and 8 she
Yeah.
demonstrated force abilities. But my only issue with the floating in space thing wasn't that she could do it, it's that nobody went, what the fuck was that? No one, hey, she's okay, sit back to medical bay. Like, nobody's like, the hell?
Well, I think they know that she's
Do they know?
she's a Skywalker. No, I think
They know she's a Skywalker, but like Rey and Finn, like when they met with Solo, they seem to treat all that shit as myths and legends. So unless she's been floating rocks around in general,
she might have. I mean, she has like 20 years from the end of 30 years, I think it is.
yeah. But they watching it like.
Well, I mean, that's-
either they know that she has force powers, in which case, why are they surprised when Solo tells them that all the story of the Jedi are real, or they don't know that she has force powers, in which case, why aren't they surprised that she can float in space without dying?
True.
Well, I mean, Leia. Yeah, I mean,
Or
Leia
in the
was not-
weak sense Solo verified Jedi are real, they're like, okay, I guess whatever, nothing will bother me anymore.
Well, the other thing though too with Leia too is probably with the explosion itself could have triggered something in her. I mean, it's
Well,
it's
no,
a
like-
traumatic event. I mean, that could have been.
I'm cool with Leia doing that. Leia could have force choked a bitch, and I would have been like, "Well, yeah. I mean, she is a Skywalker. She can
she
do
is a
that
Skywalker,
stuff.
and
I just
that
want
was-
somebody to react to it."
Even in Empire Strikes Back, I mean, from the original trilogy,
yeah.
she is as talented as Luke. She just wasn't trained to be a Jedi Knight.
He didn't spend 3 days with an old man in a swamp.
But yeah, and you touched on the Death Star. They, in fairness, they didn't have a bigger Death Star in this movie.
No, but
they had a smaller Death Star in this movie.
They had
we can't go one fucking movie without a Death Star.
They had a Death Star?
Yes,
They had a portable
was it
Death
the
Star.
battling ram was a Death Star cannon.
Oh,
Yeah, it was
yes.
a miniaturized. Yeah, they specifically said it was miniaturized Death Star technology.
Yep.
I mean, this is
That was not necessary either.
Also, so those AT-ATs are like 20 feet. It's like not 20 feet. It's like there's like 6 or 7 of them side by side. So it's like 200 yards, this picket line, and you're in these zoomy fast speeders. Just go straight to the side a mile, zoom up, and come in from behind and shoot them right up their butts.
Yeah. No, he charged straight forward.
But no, I mean, between the Death Star, the second Death Star, the Star Killer base, the Dreadnought, which has 2 miniaturized. I'm assuming I'm going to go out on a limb and saying they're also miniaturized Death Star guns.
Probably.
And then the
battering ram.
the battering ram that's a miniaturized Death Star gun. I just have to imagine that if you are an Imperial engineer and somebody comes up to you and says, "We need a bridge over this river," the first thing you're thinking of is like, okay, so orbital bombardment.
Yeah.
And we'll take this gun. Like, no.
Even beyond that, you build a Death Star cannon and just set it in the river as the bridge. It's just sitting there ready for someone to activate it and blow up the planet. But you're just using it as a physical bridge.
But it's got a very
Core
large
competencies.
keystone on it
Yeah.
that's glowing red.
Yeah.
That has like arrows that point at it, shoot here to destroy the bridge.
Core competencies, man. It's like that. Their engineering division makes Death Star cannons. That's what they do.
Yeah, the thing the movie most made me do was go home and download the specialized editions because I hadn't gotten around to downloading those yet.
I'm hoping that those will eventually be released by Disney. I'm hoping to like some big, like what
Okay, you can
what
buy them
part-
on Blu-ray right now, and I'm okay with that.
not from Disney.
Buy
I
them
know.
on Blu-ray from somebody.
I would much rather have like an actual, like quality control in there. I've bought TV shows and stuff off of Amazon or eBay, and it has not been. I did not like the quality on it.
Overall, though, I thought Last Jedi is in my top 3 Star Wars movies.
Oh no! Top 3.
Yeah, with Empire Strikes Back and Rogue One.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
What?
going to hurt people with that opinion.
I
how it's gonna work.
really like the film a lot too.
Yeah,
That's
I really like-
fine, but like,
The main
It was-
reason why I liked it is because they took the expectations that everyone expected was going to happen, and they just said nope. Like Ray's parents, nah.
yeah, no, I appreciated that. I
Nah.
appreciate that, but defying expectations isn't good in and of itself. Like if you go to a steak restaurant and they bring out a bowl of literal human shit, that was not what you expected. That doesn't make it good.
But I enjoyed what they gave to me.
Sure.
I thought it was a good movie. There were I had 2 problems with it. The one that I already mentioned, that Poe Dameron should not have been in it. Or at least should have been in the brig and should have been rescued at the end when half the other crew dies. And the casino scene was kind of out of place, and the social commentary was ham-fisted.
All right, so I'll embrace being the person who liked it the least and continue to shit on it just so we have a debate here.
Yeah.
But like, so the movie is like 40 minutes too long, and
They should have cut out Poe.
Finn and Rose's great adventure is probably about 40 minutes and was pointless and dumb. So maybe just don't have any of that shit.
Yeah, I think it would be a better movie if you cut that out.
I think it was yeah.
Ray and Kylo were great, and Ray and Kylo were great. Kylo and Luke were great, and Ray, Kylo, and Luke were the core of the movie.
Yeah,
I mean,
give me that movie.
that's what Star Wars is you have a hero's journey and a war in the background.
Yeah, I'm very happy that it didn't have to be another member of it,
Sure.
it didn't have to tie. The only tie that we really have back to the original trilogy and the other ones is basically Kylo Ren at this time. I mean, because he's Han Solo and Leia's kid.
What?
Yeah.
But I mean, he's the only tie to it, and I was actually under this. I really liked his statement in the film too, when he was basically talking about it was like,
them both. Who
fuck them
cares?
both. Let's just do this together. I'm like, oh yeah, that's basically telling every single in a way, that's the movie telling every single fanboy that has grown up with this is it's let it die. Just we're gonna make something new.
I did like Luke and Kylo's versions of the past. It's very Rashomon-esque, where you see different
different
perspectives
angles.
of the same event. But yeah, no, it's like, yeah, I guess. I mean, so Finn and Rose's adventure only exists. I guess the thing that actually does get accomplished by that whole waste of life is now we know that stable boys also have the Force, and so it's not just a Skywalker thing. So that's okay, I guess.
Yeah, and I'm happy that there are other Force sensitive people in this world.
Yeah,
mean,
I
it
do
doesn't
hope they
have
don't walk back the Rey parentage thing. Like, that's not just Snoke fucking with her or Kylo fucking with her.
I hope.
Like, have it be
Correct.
100% true that she is a nobody.
Yeah, that would be great. I'm, and that's why I'm very scared of J.J. Abrams coming back to do Part 9. I don't know if you heard that.
He does, yeah.
He does great initial runs into it, but then you get
When you give him a second season or a second movie, or season 2 of Lost, or you give him
episode 2 of Star Trek.
And also, so more little nitpicks. Trust your audience. Trust your audience. You don't need to see the lightsaber rotating next to Snoke. The scene's 1,000 times better if Snoke describes what he sees, and then afterwards, when you just see the look on his face and then you see the lightsaber, you go, oh, wait a second, instead of, having it spelled out the whole time while it's happening.
Yeah. I'm also glad, too, that they just basically said fuck Snoke as well.
Yeah.
I mean, he's had 30 years to be the villain, in a sense.
That was one of the critiques of the movie that I told some other friends that I just didn't get, and said that yes they killed off Snoke halfway through the second movie, and he didn't get a lot of time and got barely in the first movie because he wasn't a main character. Right. I mean, he was he was there. He was he was there to get overthrown by Kylo.
What this has done for them, and they need to not squander it, because it's a very interesting position for them to be in for the last movie of this trilogy, is in Return of the Jedi, which, by the way, is the correct choice for best Star Wars film ever, you have the Emperor die and Vader be redeemed. Mm-hmm. In this trilogy, the Emperor and Vader are the same person now.
Yeah.
And that person, unless you do because Vader redeem and die, whereas so you can't even, the point is he can't be redeemed and also be the villain that's defeated and hooray, we killed him.
Which I think is a good thing.
Correct. That's why I said this is a good opportunity
Yeah.
they're in. They need to not squander it.
Yeah.
They need to not have, Supreme Leader Sploke show up all of a sudden out of the blue and be Snoke's long-lost brother, and he's in charge now, and we get to kill him. Like, you have to stick with it. For Episode 9, Kylo needs to be a monster. He needs to be fucking Palpatine. Well, not fucking Palpatine. He exploded. It would be awkward to fuck him, but he needs to be adjective Palpatine.
Yeah. I mean, I think it really sets up the ninth movie really well, because there's a lot of things they can do, and it's going to be harder to fall into the trap of to a certain extent. I mean, this is a multi-generational epic that's written by people that have all read The Power of Myth. So I mean, there's going to be a hero's journey, and there's going to be some cyclical nature to it. But I think it's good that they've moved past it and cut a lot of the things that can really make it a rehashing of, which I was honestly kind of concerned about after The Force Awakens, which is a movie that I also liked, but it was a lot more derivative of stuff in the earlier in the series than The Last Jedi was.
I think it was intentional because by Abrams to do that, because we had the taste of prequels in our mouth still, and they just basically said, well, hey, you remember Star Wars? Well, here's Star Wars.
Well, even not just that.
Yeah. This is what you grew up with. This is what made you fun, and they gave us that on a silver platter. And then this movie, they basically said, well, this is going to be different.
But and not even just here's Star Wars again, but here's the basics of storytelling again.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing is, like, even just as a structured film, Force Awakens is better than this because every character does stuff that affects the plot and matters and justifies it being there. Like, it's a tight story, whereas like as what are Finn and Poe going to do in Episode 9? Are they just going to jerk off for 2 hours while we have another Rey and Kylo Ren centered plotline that doesn't have room for them?
That's kind of.
I mean, this is also. I mean, also the other thing about that is that all of the complaints about the 40 minutes in the movie that could have been cut out and made it a better movie. Maybe there'll be a point for it. Maybe there's closure to these arcs in the next movie. I don't know yet. I'm not. I mean, given that they have completely different writers, I'm not holding out much hope, and so I will probably think that just cutting those 40 minutes would be better at the end. But there's still a possibility.
Well, and they don't even know because the writer of this film literally didn't know anything.
Yeah.
And that's what? Like, why?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't Abrams give him something
to work off of, to work towards,
off or
and
towards?
That's kind of it's. I mean, if I have a big complaint to the film, is it doesn't have me wanting more, other than Rey and Kylo, and that's it. I mean, it has no other. It doesn't make me want to see what happens to Finn. It doesn't what happens to the gal there. What happens to Poe? It doesn't. It's unlike the middle movie, like Empire. When Empire ended, you're like, what? What's going to happen to Luke? What's going to happen to Han Solo, et cetera, et cetera? There's a ton of different plots that are going here. Here, there's basically everything kind of ended.
Yeah.
I mean, if this was the end of the series, they could just do that right now. I mean, it doesn't.
And that's the thing. Like this film, they said that 45 minutes was on the cutting room floor, which means this could have been 4 hours long, which means you could have just split this into 2 movies and had your trilogy.
Yeah.
Also, I'll disagree again with my brother in the chat. He says every character in this movie outside of Kylo, Luke, and Rey were Jar Jar Binks, and that is not true.
No.
What they were is an Attack of the Clowns when all the plot's happening, and then C-3PO is inside of a droid factory, and then he gets his head put on a droid soldier, and then his head's on the wrong body, and it's all really ponderous and not funny and just wasting your time and has nothing to do with the story. That's what they were. At least Jar Jar was in the plot.
Yeah. I don't hate those movies as much, but I dislike them, but I don't hate them as much.
Phantom Menace is okay if you ignore 2 or 3 very stupid things. I need half as much Jar Jar. I don't even need him out of the film. I just need him not to literally step in poop. So tone that back. I need midichlorians to not be true.
Yes.
Correct.
Which they can think there's midichlorians, just let them be wrong. You do those couple things, and I'm okay with your film. But Revenge of the Sith is also okay. The lava fight at the end needed to be about 47 minutes shorter. Because I believe it's currently an hour and a half of fighting on a lava planet, and it could be not.
Yeah, Revenge of the Sith was, I thought, far and away the best of the prequels. I mean, I was not a big fan of Phantom Menace, and I thought Attack of the Clones was unwatchable.
Attack of the Clones is unwatchable. But with Revenge of the Sith, when you somehow manage to make me be bored of space wizards fighting on a lava planet, that's a sign that you're bungling shit.
Yeah, I mean, I had commented at the time that, I thought that Revenge of the Sith was the point where Lucas was so trapped by the actual good work he'd done in the original trilogy that he had to not be terrible anymore to finish the prequels.
I can't. At the time I watched Phantom Menace, and at the time I watched Attack of the Clones, and Revenge of the Sith. My perspective has changed since that point. I was very excited for lightsaber battles.
Sure.
And they were very, very unique for those movies. They were high energy. They were doing things that they normally don't do. And then I watched a little Red Letter Media review of the Phantom Menace, and I came to realize, wait a second, no, I don't like those fights. Those fights are just way too choreographed. They're just it doesn't
emotion,
feel it has no feeling.
Luke versus Vader lightsaber duels are so emotionally impactful.
Yes.
Versus Kung Fu Yoda.
Kung Fu Yoda, or even again. It's also pointed out a big plot hole in the Phantom Menace with Darth Maul versus Qui-Gon in Obi-Wan.
High ground means nothing, apparently.
Well, high ground doesn't mean nothing, and if we could run fast.
Yeah. But Attack of the Clones, when Revenge of the Sith was going to come out, my wife at the time and I decided we saw we saw Send in the Clones in the theater, and just blocked it from our memory as people do with abuse and trauma. And so when Revenge of the Sith was coming out, we decided, well, we need to catch up and see what the hell happened after Anakin, blew up a droid ship. So we rented it from Blockbuster because Blockbuster still existed at the time.
Did that disc end up underneath your couch along with Alien 4?
It would have if it wasn't rented. But we rented it. We watched like 15 minutes. It was so terrible that we just turned it off and went to bed. The next day we watched like the next 15 minutes and then just returned it. And that's the last time I ever watched Attack of the...
I mean, Revenge of the Sith has got like if I remember, I don't know, I remember that much of it.
Set pieces, Ayla Secura's hot. You got things going on.
There's like a really cool fight sequence at the very beginning of it, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they're on Grievous's ship, and then there's some fighting and stuff like that. It's in Dooku versus Anakin and Obi-Wan. Is a nice little lightsaber duel.
That one is actually pretty deep.
Attack of the Sith is the most popcorn action flicky one, and it has that going for it, and it's okay. It just has a lot of but plot structure wise, Phantom Menace is actually the strongest, I think. Attack of the Clones is irredeemable, but I do really wish an Attack of the Sith, Revenge of the Sith, whatever,
Revenge of the Sith,
adjective of the noun or verb of the noun. I do wish in verb of the noun that, because it's so easy fix. It's always the thing, and that's the thing. People complain about me nitpicking. Like, they say that I nitpick on shit. But I pick the nits because they're the easiest things to fix, which makes them more inexcusable to me. Mm-hmm. And so you look at Obi-Wan versus Grievous, okay? And Grievous whips out 4 fucking lightsabers. Mm-hmm. And it's like, that's fucking cool. That is cool. How will Obi-Wan deal with this foe who is superior in light? Oh, never mind. He just cut all his arms off in one. Mm-hmm. And that's stupid. Mm-hmm. That's fucking dumb.
He's a robot.
No, actually, he's a cyborg. He was a living entity put inside a robot suit. Yeah. Anyway, and yes, Mace Windu injured him, and that's why he wheezes at the start of his, because in the Getty Tartakovsky Clone Wars, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. The point fucking is, you set up a lightsaber. This is your premise. This guy has an advantage in a lightsaber duel. You have set up this premise, so you need to answer the premise with something interesting. How does Obi-Wan beat him? And the answer isn't just, he's better somehow, because that's fucking dumb. The answer is, hey, without the Force, lightsabers can't block. Lightsabers aren't attracted to blaster bolts magically. Well, they are magically. That's exactly it. They only do it because the Jedi is blocking. Mm-hmm. It's not, so that's the weakness of a lightsaber. So have Obi-Wan choose, so it even ends the same way. Have him choose the blaster to win the fight because he can't win it with a lightsaber. Instead, just have him, I win magically.
Yeah.
It's fucking dumb.
Yeah. I haven't watched it. I haven't watched those 3 in a long time.
I also have Ayla Secura live and have her be real and have her marry me.
Isn't that the gal that's in... Wait, who's that?
No, Ayla Secura is the Twi'lek one. One with the big head tentacles like Bib Fortuna, Jabba's buddy.
Yeah, aren't they like colored?
Yeah, they're blue. No, not the orange and white. That's no, not her.
Okay, it's like some other.
She just got like a diamond-shaped head, and they're orange and white on the sides.
Okay.
No, Ayla Secura has they look almost like pigtails, but they're made out of tentacle and not out of hair. She was like a stunt woman in the first 2 of the prequels, and so they gave her an on-screen role in the 3rd one, if I could recall correctly.
Oh, okay.
Point is, I have a thing for Twi'leks. Don't judge me.
It's no Kit Fisto.
Somebody did a parody of the Twilight poster, and they put Bib Fortuna in there instead of the vampire guy, and it said Twi'lek instead of Twilight, and it's amazing.
I was watching a show on Netflix, this Star Wars related, but it was it's called The Toys That Made Us, I think it is. It's like a documentary. I don't know what's... Oh, whatever. But it was Toys That Made Us. So it's like it's supposedly like an 8-part miniseries, kind of like a documentary about toys. It goes over like how Kenner got the Star Wars license, how Masters of the Universe came around, how G.I. Joe and Barbie. Those are like the 4 ones that they do.
Sure.
But they were talking about the Star Wars ones, and one of the they were talking about knockoffs from other countries, and one of the knockoffs was a toothbrush kit that had Bib Fortuna as the toy that you would get with it, which has probably like the worst dentistry model to be with your toothbrush kit. But I just got done watching that show, and that's interesting. It's
Sure.
kind of goes over. It's really a lot about Hasbro, so I expect Transformers to be in there eventually.
Sure.
But yeah, no, I liked The Last Jedi. I liked how
I really liked it.
I need to see it again. I really want to see it again because, like, I was disappointed going through it because I was expecting more Star Wars tropes, and they gave us not as many Star Wars tropes as you would expect. There was a lot of failure in it, and apparently BB-8 can do anything as well.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. Fucking Mary Sue robot there.
I would have been completely fine with him controlling the AT-AT. That would have been fine. He didn't need to have the whole. Apparently, those
No,
things
we
are.
need to see him. That way, hey, look, it's BB-8, yay!
Apparently, that's those tops on those things just fall right
It's
off.
like Rock'em Sock'em Robots. You
Yeah.
just hit him on the bottom and it just flies right off.
He could have been driving that thing too. That we know there's a hatch on top that people could have jumped into.
Yeah, the scale of that, because like in the first one, like 3 people are sitting inside of that hatch, and I don't know.
I don't
know
when
how-
Chewbacca was driving it. Was there other guys in there?
Yeah, it was him and a couple of Ewoks are in there, and there's at least 2 humans that usually pilot it.
Yeah. Yeah, 2 humans and a regular guy. Because I
Yeah.
think there's a guy standing behind him going to go this way.
Yeah, I mean it's like a tank. You know what I mean? You can get 3 or 4 people in there. It's a little cramped, but they can get in there.
Well, maybe it just doesn't have very good armor. Because it was, I mean, that thing just like peeled off like a tent. And we didn't need, I mean, it was fine. I whatever, but he could have been just driving it without the top being ripped off.
I think that. I mean, that was a decision to make it more clear what was going on without having to narrate it. That's not one of the things I'd really complain about in the movie, just because it quickly described what was going on, even if it wasn't necessarily the most.
I just didn't
logical
want
way.
it to go on.
That is
Yeah, I mean,
legitimate.
That's fine. It's like, yeah, they just have. Because I guess BB-8 can't open the hatch and wave like Chewbacca did.
Yeah, that's true.
So to get BB-8 visible, you just have to rock'em sock'em all the walls off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not the whole cabin, right? The cabin doesn't come off because if it did, BB-8 wouldn't still be there. He'd be in the cabin.
And
So
you wouldn't be able to control it either.
the walls of the cabin come flying off, but
Yeah.
not the control. What?
Yeah.
Wait, now what? This only raises further questions, David.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I mean, I thought the Deus Ex Machina with BB-8 there was kind of disappointing, but the fact that he popped the top to say, hey, it's me, and not just some stormtrooper who's randomly killing his friends, that didn't bother me. I wasn't terribly happy with the fact that it happened, but I mean, yes, popping the top so you could see BB-8 was not the problem.
I'm so happy about the Phasma death, too.
Yeah, well, that was her own fault. What she shouldn't have teleported away immediately after the explosion if her plan was to then walk back towards Finn to try to kill him. She should have killed him when she was 2 feet away from him when the explosion happened.
I don't know. I'm not convinced Phasma's dead.
She'll irrelevantly and pointlessly survive another murder.
Yeah.
What a squandering of Gwendolyn Christie.
There was. Oh yes. Somebody I saw on Facebook had posted like a petition trying to get her to be Samus Aran.
That'd be cool.
That'd be fucking amazing.
Yeah. The only thing better would be to never make a Metroid movie because nothing Metroid has been good in the last 20 years.
Metroid 2 was pretty good.
Metroid 2?
Yep, it's
The fan redo
no,
of the...
It should have been actually they shut that down because they actually made a Metroid.
Oh,
2.
sure, yeah. Well, no, they made that Metroid 2 for the original Game Boy when we were like 10 years old.
I was going to say Metroid 2 is like 30 years old.
No, I know,
Oh,
but
okay,
yeah.
25 years old.
This is the high definition remaster of it.
yes, the one that came out for the DS is a new version of Metroid 2.
Yeah.
And that goes over. That's why they shut down the fan made Metroid 2, which I
Also
have on
just
this computer.
Fucking Metroid Other M. God damn.
And it's a bad. I would say pretty much Other M, Freedom Fighters, bleh, horrible. I do like almost everything else they've done with Metroid.
I'm a huge Metroid fan, which is why Other M is one of the worst anythings that's ever anythinged.
I don't know. I have not spent more than 15 minutes playing the first-person Metroids because I like, okay, yeah, this isn't Metroid.
They were my least favorite. I enjoyed the more side-scrolly. Like,
Yeah.
I'm totally 100% with you. But if you can get by that and play them, they're good games. They have a lot of interesting lore in them. There's a lot of plot development. No Kraid, unfortunately. They even cut him out. There was a 3D Kraid that was going to be in Metroid Prime 2, I believe, but they cut him out, and that's a shame because being the hipster I am, I was always a Team Kraid over Team Ridley.
Yeah. I am just sad that we don't have AAA Metroidvania-style games anymore.
Yeah. There's not AAA. There's a lot of stuff like that in the indie realm nowadays, especially roguelike style.
Yeah.
You get things like Salt and Sanctuary or
Rogue Legacy.
Rogue Legacy, Dead Cells. You know, so there's a lot of those.
Even without Rogue Legacy or roguelikes, you have Axiom Verge.
Sure,
It's
but again, that's in the
probably one of
indie
the-
screen.
Yeah,
I mean-
that's why I said that's why I say nobody's making the AAA's. There are good indie games in the genre being made, but
And Metroid 2. I mean, that's
it's a remake.
it's a complete different. I mean, it's similar, but it's different. It's a 3D version of Metroid 2.
Okay, I'll give that a shot.
I mean, Metroid 4. It's Metroid Prime 4. That's being made, and that's coming out. For
What
that
I would want
thing.
is another Metroid Fusion style. You know, the side
Yeah.
scroll.
Oh yeah. No, I'm willing to bet you they'll probably still. I mean, Nintendo makes those.
I
It
just
does
want
well.
another Symphony of the Night style.
Correct.
Castlevania.
But no, the AAA industry needs to keep shitting out Call of Duties and whatever the other one that isn't Call of Duty is, Battlefield.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll just shit 3 of those out every year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and SWAT our friends.
Yeah, SWAT,
Or SWAT your enemies.
friends. I mean, Call of Duty and Battlefield are going to get the point. They'll be like Madden. It's like they just
They are like Madden.
well, I mean, they're going to stop adding numbers to them and just put the year. And it's like, okay, yeah, this is Battlefield 2020.
And no, what they can do is do like a Symphony of the Night style game, but when you beat the boss, instead of dropping a new ability, it drops a loot box that'll give you 5 random commodities, some of which might be outfit changes, and if you're lucky, one of them will grant you a new ability.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you have to just farm that boss until you get the ability to double jump so you can get to the next area.
Yep.
Or you have the option of just paying them $20 for that double jump ability.
No.
It's
you
choice.
You can buy 5 loot
You can buy
boxes
loot
for
boxes,
$5.99.
correct. You are correct. Yeah. It's choice for the consumer.
Did you hear about UFC 3?
Have they changed it, or is it still the thing where like you get your punches in loot boxes?
Yeah. I think it's still in beta though, but it's supposed to be out in like 2 weeks. So
Oh God.
yeah, you get like a super gold jab, and you can just jab your way to success.
yeah. It's the actual damage increases and better moves and stuff are all in the loot boxes. Yep.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy so far about the blowback for it, though. I mean, there has been some companies that have been like, "Hey, we don't have loot boxes."
Right.
You know,
It's this fucking selling point.
Yep. Yeah. And I'm happy that
Yep.
there's big companies out there that are making single player games. Makes me sad that Darksiders 3 is coming out. In fact, I think it's out today, and there's been no talk of Darksiders 3 at all. I haven't seen anything from it besides a video from like E3 last year.
Yeah. You know, some are like holding out. CD Projekt Red tweeted about the fact that Cyberpunk 2099 won't have any loot boxes or microtransactions, and some people are holding strong, but man, the fucking mainstream.
Yep. Man, I need an art department. I want to make a Metroidvania style game now.
Yeah, I can draw. I can do pixel stuff.
Yeah.
Oh.
And make it hardcore. Make it like Money Must Die, where the ability to go left is an unlock, and so if you miss it, the first time through the room, you
Yeah.
just have to reset your game because you can't turn back to get it.
No, that you can turn back to get it. You have to go through the upside down world.
You just have to go around the planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in like the first room. There's the ability to turn left, and it's like on a ledge. And if you don't jump and get it, you just like, oh.
Just a forever scrolling like Mario.
Yeah, well, you eventually get to the end of the room, and you just like you can't. Yeah. Wah wah. It's like this is the kind of game this is gonna be.
Let's try to look to see if there's any new Castlevanias on the route. I remember seeing
Although,
that there was.
although seriously, if you can put the art together for it, I can make the fucking game. I am good at that kind of thing.
You can make a fucking game.
Well, now that you mention it.
Make a Metroidvania style fucking game where
Yeah.
I have to like.
No. only it. Never mind. I'm just going to shut up.
Magic Arena is in beta apparently. I don't know what Magic Arena is.
I have no idea what Magic Arena is.
You still have that Bloodstained that's supposedly is a Castlevania. Like.
Oh,
game.
the one that was kickstarted. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I missed that Kickstarter. That's not out yet, right?
No.
Yeah.
It's been. I think it's supposedly coming out this.
Because that was by
spring.
the guy who did Symphony of the Night.
Correct.
Right, that was the whole shtick. Although, the last time we had something like that is when Kickstarter founded Mighty Number 9, which is by the guy who did Mega Man, and that didn't turn out very well.
No, it did not. March of 2018. So it's like 3 months. Supposedly it's
There
coming
you
out.
go.
All right.
Wait, which one? The
Bloodstained.
Bloodstained?
Ritual of the Night.
Not Symphony of the
Not
Night.
Symphony of the Night. This is a Ritual of the Night.
Yeah.
But I saw some gameplay of that, and it's basically Castlevania. So it's exciting.
Well, that's good. That's good. Not enough 2D games is also part of it.
Yeah. I really miss 2D platformers being a popular and common thing.
Have you played any of the Bionic Commandos?
Not in any of the recent ones.
Rearmed is solid as shit.
Rearmed and Rearmed 2. Very good. I know that. even with the addition of the
I-
jump button, it still makes that game is still difficult because you have to jump and swing.
It's sacrilege. But I'm sure it's fine. But Bionic Commando Rearmed, I'm sure it's on. Well, no, because it's probably not on the current ones, right? You'd have to have like
I
a
think-
PS2.
I think you
or,
have to get
or
this-
3. I think it's on the 3 and the Xbox.
You would
360.
have to get the stupid company or the PlayStation View or whatever.
Now, yeah, PlayStation
Yeah.
now, where the monthly subscription.
Which you can get it that way. Because I've seen it on there, but
Although
I
the-
could always lend you my PS3 so you could play it.
I complained about Mega Man 9 and 10 for the longest time because I owned them on my PS3, and then you could rent them on the PS4 but not even rebuy them. And then eventually they released the collection that had 6 through 10, and so
Yep.
then at least I could actually own them again. So now I have every Mega Man game again. I bet...
How stupid are we that we just keep on buying the same games over and over and over?
It's not a Skinner box at all. I'm going to buy Shadow of the Colossus for the third time in about a month here.
Because that's I was just talking about Shadow of the Colossus. They have a new released version that's updated for the PS4.
Yeah, I had it on the PS2, and then I had it on the PS3, and now I'm going to have it on the PS4.
Yeah. It's like, God damn it.
It's a good game, though.
It is an amazing looking game.
Good game, Spront.
Yeah.
And the, is it the 5th Colossus? Whatever the Hawk one is one of the most magical fucking moments in a video game that I've ever had. Is when because before that it's just giant walkie things, giant stompy things, and then this swoops down and you grab it and then you're soaring through the sky and it's just so amazing.
Yep. I have not played that game.
Oh, you should. So
I own it as well.
you own it?
I own
I can play it. I can play it, Andy.
Nah.
You're in it.
I'm not in it.
You're in it.
No.
Yeah. Basically, you are in it.
Yeah.
Like the 7th or 8th Colossus, just a guy with a big long beard like that, and you have to like piss him off, and you run around, and then you hide under like an overhang, and he like leans down to look under to see you, and then you just run and grab onto his beard, and then climb up his face.
Yeah, but why do you have to kill him? I mean, this is bearded system. Are we okay with that?
You are not okay with it, which is the great thing about Shadow of the Colossus, which is that slowly throughout the game, you're like, wait, are we the baddies? You have that David Mitchell sketch going through your head.
No, I played the game. I beat, I think, the first 2 Colossals, and then I wasn't sinking more time into it. Somebody asked if we have watched Bright yet.
I have not.
I have not. We could pain train it.
I've watched Netflix original movies before, and it's never ended well.
It's kind of weird. So the critical consensus on Bright is it's about 30%. So that's what the critics say. It is currently at, I think it was 88% viewers score.
So it's the reverse of The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think also The Last Jedi had issues with trolls as well.
Maybe.
Partially. 'Cause, like somebody had posted some of the supposed reviews for The Last Jedi ended up on other movies. From people running bots of some sort.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, I mean, if it's Bright, given the subject matter, I mean, if a troll were posting about it, he'd probably like the movie.
But I've seen most of the people I've seen post about it liked it.
Hot take,
they said it
racism's
wasn't
bad. I said hot take, racism's bad.
Well, yeah, yeah. And also, critics never like any kind of fantasy or sci-fi. Generally, they generally don't like it. What I've seen from most critics.
I'm curious about something. I'm going to look it up here.
You're going to look up what? What are you looking up?
I'm looking up
the
Rotten Tomatoes score for District 9. Because that is another, hey, hot take, racism's bad sci-fi movie.
I think District 9 actually got really good reviews.
I'm sure it did.
Too.
So, but, yeah, 90% critic and 82% audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think people liked Bright because it was just, I mean, it was just there. It wasn't. I don't know. I mean, they were talking that it got really good numbers on Netflix. It's, I mean,
Didn't I hear that they were making a sequel already?
I know people were asking for episode 2 for it.
Well, in theory, what they could do is do the Alien Nation style, where now that they've had the movie, you treat that like a backdoor pilot and you spin it off into a series.
Yep. That's something I'm very surprised they haven't reinvented yet.
Alien Nation?
Yeah.
Hey, hot take, racism's bad. 90% of sci-fi is hot take, racism's bad.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't know if you've caught on to this.
Dr. Evazan died.
What?
Dr. Evazan died recently, the last couple
Not
days.
Buttface's friend?
You don't know who Dr. Evazan is?
No.
That's not what I said at all. Pundababa's bad day.
Yeah.
It's Pundababa's buddy. It's the You'll Be Dead guy from New Hope.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't like you.
I like him just fine.
I don't like you. I'm wanted on 12 systems. Well, I'll be careful. You'll be dead.
Yep.
There's my Dr. Evazan.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. I thought
And
it
of
was
course,
pretty
the extended universe gave him like the backstory size of the fucking.
good. Well, he's wanted in 12 systems,
Sure.
so I mean, he's. You know, he was received. Hold on, he's wanted in probably more systems. He's received the death penalty in 12 systems.
He has like a parking ticket and a couple more. But fucking
Not on that casino planet.
Yeah, not on the beach though, because I mean that was we literally now have a parking
They chase
ticket
people
in Star
down
Wars
for
canon.
parking in the wrong spot.
man. It's so dumb. He just parked in the wrong place. Thanks a lot, Jerson Gordon-Levitt. But what was I saying? Oh, fucking A. So in Empire Strikes Back, when Lando announces that
Lando.
Lando Calrissian.
Is it Lando?
Lando.
I don't think I've ever heard some. It's Kador. Go ahead. Sorry. That was my War Machine talk. So go
When
ahead.
Landu Kilrasan is telling the people on Kluyud Saitai that the Imperi has taken over, There's a guy running around with an ice cream maker.
What?
Yeah, like the people are all running around in the hallways, and there's a guy literally carrying an ice cream maker. Just like a straight up like Cuisinart brand ice cream maker goes just running past in the background. That guy has like a 50,000 word Wikipedia entry. I shit you not. Here, I'll Google
More than Lobot?
ice cream maker guy. His name is Wilro Hood, according to Wikipedia. Like I just Googled ice cream maker guy and this shit came up.
Jeez.
Wilro Hood.
Probably not written by George, though.
No, that's the extended universe. And
I'd
that
like to
shit
know
gets
George's
crazy.
opinion on him.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I'm curious to know, and I know he hasn't said anything about it. I'm curious to know what George thinks of Force Awakens and The Last Jedi.
He's probably contractually obliged to say nothing negative.
Yeah. Luke or Mark Hamill didn't say something negative until he changed his story.
What?
Mark Hamill had originally posted that he did not like where the direction that Luke had gone in the Last Jedi, and then about 3 days later, he suddenly posted, it was like, I didn't really mean to say I didn't really like this. Rian Johnson and we got along well, et cetera, et cetera.
Sure.
A lot of people are attributing. I mean, I think he actually probably made the correction himself. Maybe a lot of people are saying that, like Disney, are like, no, you changed that.
That's okay. As long as Mark Hamill is pointing out Ted Cruz's incest porn obsession on Twitter, he'll still be my best friend.
Yeah. Well, I don't think Luke or Mark Hamill did anything wrong either. And we'll see him in Part 9 anyway.
Yeah.
As a ghost.
Spoilers!
Oh, darn.
It is amusing that the one original cast member who's dead is the one
only
that's still alive in
Yeah.
the series.
Yeah, well, that was the other expectation. That's why I think I wanted to watch it the second time, is because every single time they did something with Carrie Fisher, I was like going, oh, so this is how they're gonna end it for. Oh, this is how they're gonna end it for. Oh, this is how they're end it for. And no, they don't end it that way. So having that outside of my mind, I would be able to center on other things better. Because there was a lot of good outs they could have taken for her, like before she became space mom.
Also, Adam Driver has a weird torso.
Yes, he does.
He does.
He has a weird featureless torso with a high waistband that's covering his belly button.
He's just a weird-looking dude.
It was
in
like
general.
when Kirk would take his shirt off in the original Star Trek, and it's just this pinkish wall with no features and a waistband just underneath where the nipples should be.
In the original series, he looked good. It was basically after. No, he never took his shirt off in the movies.
Yeah.
No,
because he was flabby and wearing a toupee by that point.
yeah, I don't think he was really wearing a toupee.
I don't know.
His hair looks.
We still need to watch those fucking things.
We do.
We were going to marathon all of those with a couple people who had never seen them. And originally we were going to do it back in November because Star Trek II Wrath of Khan Director's Cut was in theaters.
Yep.
And didn't even get to go see that.
Nope. So we probably should go to.
Should have some War Machine talk while he's looking up Zappity Grumbles. I'm going to
Okay.
give you your opportunity.
War Machine talk. Come to the ATC.
Oh.
It's going to be awesome. There's going to be a lot of good gaming there. I'm going to embarrass myself, but that often happens at tournaments.
You can take your shirt off.
Well,
Lampshade on the head.
all of us will be here. All of us will be there.
Maybe me. I'm not sure yet.
Maybe I thought you were.
He's
covered.
running the solo event, so he better be
Yeah.
there.
Let's see. There's a solo event. There's an awesome team event, and I am hyped as hell for the team event. Should be fun. Going to see if a lot of our theory machine and secret tech holds out. Probably won't, but it'll be fun anyway.
Yeah, I'll be excited to be there. It's been a while since I played some War Machine, so I have to try to remember how to play this.
Yeah, I've been playing Khador for a while. My team captain is happy with my pairing and the potential matchups. Looking at some of the people that were at, I think we were going over the Mid Atlantic Team Tournament, which is one of the recent ones that we have a list of events.
Andy's having a stroke. Send help.
My hand was off of the home row type thing, so.
So I'm excited. We have some plans for how to organize things in a team event. Hopefully, we'll do pretty well, and I'm happy with my Khador pairing. And I have no idea what I'm going to be playing after the ATC, because I'm probably at least if I stick with Khador, I'll switch to different Khador casters.
Been playing some Guild Ball with me, potentially.
Yes, and
Or checking it out at least.
Yes, and I have promised Andy that I will learn to play Guild Ball after the ATC.
Chat has a question for David. What did you code Conflict Chamber with, and any plans to put it on GitHub at some point?
GitHub.
TH is a GitHub.
I think it's GitHub.
It is GitHub.
GitHub.
No. All right.
Yes. I am Dave, by the way. Dave.
That's what I said.
Yes. I'm just
Yeah, we were not pointing out his mistake. We were
I was
cleverly
glossing
making
it
it
over.
nice.
No, I
Nice
am.
to the person
Suck
that.
on that, cunst of fucks. Cunst of fucks.
I'm not sure we need you to be our official.
It's Kunst. Note the first S there. Kunststoff.
It's German.
Kunst of Fuchs. Cunty fucks. Anyway, David, what do you code Conflict Chamber with? Any plans to put it on Grubhub?
Yes, it's German. It was originally
Or McDonald's getting a list of just War Machine models. Like, I don't know how to make a berserker.
Please deliver a theme force to me.
I think I want a burger that's called a berserker now.
Yeah. It was originally in JavaScript and PHP. It is now almost entirely in TypeScript. There's a small amount of PHP left over that at some point in the near future will be replaced with more TypeScript. I switched over to TypeScript so that I had the ability of having the list generation and validation engine in TypeScript for the front end, and also could use the exact same code to provide validation on a Node.js server on the back end. And in the process of doing it, I determined that I really like TypeScript. It's actually a really neat language to work with. There's a lot of tooling available for it. Parts of it will probably be on GitHub at some point in the future, but I am way behind on a lot of Conflict Chamber stuff, and the GitHub stuff isn't going to happen until I've got a couple of upcoming features implemented, and I've got some time to clean up the code a bit, because about half of it is embarrassing at the current state.
Wow, what a great story. I'm sorry. That was rude.
No, I understand. If you're not a developer, I said a lot of words there, and
That's okay.
that was about it.
That's what you guys get to sit through when I decide to just vomit Gwent talk.
Yeah.
And I do
that's
that
pretty
on
much
purpose.
it. Yeah.
I do that on purpose.
Yeah. There's Zappity Grumbles. Any thoughts on the Crucible Guard? Are you guys excited? I'm hoping the Crucible Guard will come with better, clean, more concise scopes.
The concept of them is cool.
Yeah.
Steampunky, Victorian jetpack.
I love my Assault Marines. I'm planning on playing Assault Marines when War Machine Assault Marines come out.
Yeah, I think it'll be very cool when they come out. Like I said, is the issues that people have had with the sculpts with the Grimkin and the Convergence for the limited factions. I'm
Sure.
hoping that there's a little bit more attention put to making sure that we get really nice quality stuff out of it.
Yeah, I might get them. I didn't get Grimkin though. I was going to say I can just do all the limited factions, but nah.
Yeah, Grimkin really didn't appeal to me, but I'm probably going to grab.
probably get Jake's.
Crucible Guard.
You could probably
Jake
get Jake's
dump
off.
his. You think?
Probably he'll do. I mean, he's been trying to get off of Signar for the longest time, and
It ain't happening.
it's not happening. As long as there's a Kane 3 that he can feasibly play, he's always going to be there, or a Haley 3. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I think it's. I'm intrigued. I probably won't get it, but I mean, if it's something I can maybe mix match with, I'm not going to be able to mix match with Kador at all.
You won't be able to. Well, I don't know. I guess they could. Like, there's nothing stopping them from making like a partisan faction. You know what I mean? But they didn't do that yet. But doesn't mean they can't.
No, in the fluff, isn't the Crucible Guard mostly associated with the Lelia's resistance?
They're all our friends anyway.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, Whale's part of Kador, so they must be friends. That's how it works.
All right, somebody did actually.
There's apparently a Twitter ZG from our German friend here.
Also, I really like the idea that one caster that while Pagani has said that no, he's not a mind flayer. The way his gas mask is oriented, he's ambiguously a mind flayer. So he's now my best friend.
He'll be a mind flayer.
Yeah.
Everybody will mod him thusly. You find it on the tweet mails.
Yep. With more and more TT system released, is there a system or model line for nearly tabletop system model line for everyone? What setting and system skirmish is your personal favorite?
What? Wait.
It's basically
you rewound halfway through. Just so with more and more tabletop game systems being released. Where did it go from there?
There is a system or model line for nearly everyone.
Oh, okay.
And so what setting and system, skirmish, mass battle, epic style, is your personal favorite?
I don't know. I like the encounter level in War Machine a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of people like the smaller, like
kind of company of iron
right,
size.
but what's the GW one, the company? Necromunda, the Necromunda.
That's more of a warband.
Necromunda,
It's a warband type thing with a half dozen guides, and some people like the big rank and file, like fantasy. But I really like the smaller, yet not too small, of like a War Machine.
Like
battle.
50 models, maybe
Yeah.
max.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like I think sort of the balance between, I was going to say the balance between War Machine and 40K because, of course, you can play any of them, both of them in a large variety of points.
Right.
But, most people now play War Machine at 75 points, which I think is a perfectly good size, and I'm happy with stuff that goes up that size or a little larger, and most 40K encounters, or at least when I was playing 40K, were at a slightly larger encounter size that I thought was great. I love the rules for War Machine. I think it has the best game of the tabletop, the best pure game of the tabletop games that are at a similar or at any comparable scale. On the hobby side, Games Workshop models are amazing, and that is one of the things I really miss is getting things like the Chaos Marine, like the Chaos Space Marines box, which it's on the back it says you can make 10 Marines with it. If you cobble parts together, you can actually make 11, and then this also has like for 10 Marines has something like 45 or 50 different arms and extra heads and extra shoulder pads and just extra stuff, so you have a lot more control over it, and because their plastic is a lot easier to work with, it's a lot easier to modify stuff. And so I had a Space Wolves army I love that was cobbled together with Space Wolves parts and Fantasy Chaos Knight parts too.
Yeah.
And I was happy with that, and I like Games Workshop does the hobby aspect of it a lot better, and I would think I would enjoy War Machine more if they had a model line that was both better constructed and designed with the idea of doing more conversion stuff, but not enough to
for
go
the
back
purity
to
of the
40K.
game. They're anti-conversion.
Yeah,
which I understand for
I
hobbyists.
understand
That's
that.
unfortunate. But it is what it is.
But if it comes down to it, I'm much more of a game player than a hobbyist.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pick, and even to walk that back, what I'm going to pick is the game that has the best community where I live. And here,
Why the hell do you play War Machine? See, because we suck is the joke. I just like that game size because every model feels impactful when you have that feel, but there's enough of them that you also have expendability.
Yeah.
And it's nice to have that balance. You know, sure, kill half my long gunners, whatever. They're just long gunners. But on the other hand, every long gunner can matter.
Yeah.
And so that's a nice level to be at. Whereas when you have 200 models or 5 models.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one mechanic I really wish was in War Machine that I absolutely loved in 40K is transports. Because, I am a closet treadhead. And
There
I
is
love,
one. There is a
Well,
transport.
there's a bunker house now, right? Or the
The siege crawler.
the Dwarf battle engine. It poops
kinda.
out dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I am a treadhead and always played mechanized infantry armies in 40K, and I missed mechanized infantry armies. Also, there's a drop pod in Lely's Resistance.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've played a lot of game systems. Not I played a lot of mainstream game systems. So I've done Mordheim. I've done Warhammer Fantasy. I played one game of Warhammer 40K, and I'm undefeated. So suck
Good
it.
job.
Suck it,
Yep.
folks. But I played a lot of Warhammer Fantasy, and honestly, I really like the rank and file troop, the strategy in that game itself, where you're actually outmaneuvering your opponent. That's what I liked about that. I wish War Machine had more of kind of like a rank and file, but it doesn't fit the setting for that.
I have a bad impression of the rank and file games, and honestly, that's probably not for rank and file itself, but when I have tried to play it in the past, because I mean, to me, the most interesting thing in a game like this is looking at it as a puzzle and solving the puzzle and figuring out the best play from what's available. And rank and file games tend to be able to get a lot of advantage from gaming the system, and most of the people I have played rank and file games with, and I should say I've never played any with anyone up here, maybe it's different here, tend to get irrationally pissed off when you win by gaming the rank and file system, and that was kind of one of the reasons that I never got seriously involved in that, because I put armies together and planned it out and said, oh, this is what I'm going to do, and one of my friends said, yeah, and nobody will play you because you're not going into rank and file with the same expectation of everyone else. I'm like, okay, so this isn't what I'm interested in.
I think that's part of, because I'm assuming when you say rank and file, you're mostly saying Warhammer Fantasy.
Yeah.
And that's a GW game, and GW games are not tightly designed, and so people go into with an expectation of forging. I mean, so that's not rank and file's fault. That's
Yeah, like
Right.
the core
I'm saying
rules
it's
you
for
can have tightly designed work and file games.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the issue: is the casual versus competitive age-old debate.
Yeah, that's my whole thing with it, is that when I have tried to do it in the past, it has been problematic, because I look at this and say, this is a brilliant play you can do, and then the other guy says, okay, we're not playing anymore because that's dumb.
It's dumb. You use the rules to make this not fun.
Well, yeah, and that's the issue when you have rules that
Yeah,
are written
and
well.
I mean, I'm not saying this isn't legitimate for the people I have played with, because yes, in a lot of cases I'm doing dick move after dick move, and it is ruining their enjoyment of the game. But that's how I want to play competitively.
And that's how you are in War Machine. What were you talking about previously? I was just calling you a dick.
Well,
That's all
yeah,
I was doing.
I mean, War Machine is my favorite game, and I have described the game in the past as Dick Move to Victory.
Dick Move to Victory, also the title of my sex tape.
So he had mentioned I should try to take a look at Kings of War.
Yeah.
I've looked at it. I haven't actually touched any fantasy models since like 2008. I mean, it's been a long time since I even looked at playing.
But conveniently, when Age of Sigmar came out, Kings of War came out with rules for all kinds of models that happen to be just like those models that didn't work in Games Workshop games anymore. Oh, look, we have Sklavens. Come bring your Sklavens over here.
Ratman.
Do not sue. Yeah.
Yeah, and the Inditer is a great model.
Yeah.
There's a few really nice Privateer Press figures, and also I know I'm in the minority, because everybody else looks at them and goes and you show me like those hot air balloon dwarves that you were all excited about, and I like poo-pooed on them, because I just like, I see like they're like the new like wood elves, or like the tree people. And,
those are horrible.
And it's just like there's too much shit there.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
You know, but in general, people like, you look at like their gargoyle, or you look at their like chaos wizard, like you look at any of their. I prefer the clunky old ones from like 1992. Like they're just.
Have you seen my Nurgle army?
They're so
That's basically my Nurgle army
busy.
from the
Yeah.
90s.
Well, I mean,
And
that's
some people like all those features, and I get that. And I'm not saying that I'm right and they're wrong. And I'm not scared of saying that about people when I feel it.
Yeah.
So I understand, but I like them. A few little details, but not super busy. Like my favorite model in Privateer Press is the Bone Swarm. It's clean, it's simple, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of little details in it. Not only just all the little skulls and stuff, but the shit like the one in the front pushing the one that's second from the front backwards because he wants to be in the lead. God damn it!
Yeah.
I love little details like that.
Well, I think there's room for.
Okay.
I think there's room for all of the above. I mean,
Yeah.
especially, the two lines in Games Workshop I like the best are probably the Eldar and Chaos, which are basically diametrically opposed. I mean, I love Jess Godwin's aesthetic for the Eldar, that everything is streamlined and isn't unnecessarily ornate. And then at the same time, the chaos where everything is baroque as fuck works in the same universe, and they both have their charms.
Yeah, Andy's pulling up a bunch of GW models on his computer that I enjoy. Those are good. Like those are what I'm talking about. But
That said, a lot of the fantasy chaos, some of it goes over the edge, but I like the baroque stuff in the 40K chaos.
I wonder what happens if I just Google GW models are too busy.
No, I agree with though. I mean, I really don't like the tree men. Those new tree men are the worst.
And pull up the
But-
Forge Fiend, which I think is one of the models I just really like the aesthetic of.
Forge Fiend.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we should get to
I
recommendations
like this
here.
thing, whatever the hell this thing is. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just
There's a lot of shit going on there. What is this guy? You know what that guy is?
What is it?
Is that the new version of Archaon?
I don't even know what the hell that guy is.
He's
But there's just a
his
whole
name is
lot
that's
of
on.
shit going
He's
on.
also a
Archaon.
ridiculously huge model too.
Yeah.
Because that's on a dragon. I think that's like yeah. But anyway, we should be talking about recommendations so we can close this up.
Yes, there's
It-
Archaon.
Oh yeah, Archaon Everchosen.
It was better when he just had a horse.
Or on foot.
Yeah.
All right, recommendations. Anybody got any?
Go see The Last Jedi. It's a good movie.
It's okay. Yeah, you should go see it. Well, whatever. You're going to see it. You're legally obligated to go see Last Jedi, and you will buy your tickets for Episode 9 the instant it's available to purchase, because at this point we are all pot committed.
Yeah, I mean,
There's no way we're not all seeing Episode 9 the day it comes out.
correct.
Right.
I do want to see Ryan Johnson's trilogy. I'm hoping that
you
the
did.
backlash. No, I'm hoping that the the backlash from this film doesn't take that away from him, because I'm very interested to see what he does in the Star Wars universe that doesn't have anything to do with any of the characters we've seen before.
You know who I don't think of when I think Star Wars? Ron Howard.
Oh yeah. The Solo movie is
Ron fucking Howard?
that movie's going to be.
That movie's going to have problems.
Yeah, it's.
Holy
I-
shit.
I'm waiting to see. I mean, like, I consider myself kind of a fanboy of The Last Jedi, and I've been defending it, but I'm curious to see how bad that movie is and how bad people are going to defend that film. Because, I mean, you have a movie that's 3/4 finished, and then they replace the director. That's not good.
Yeah.
It's not good. Hey, thanks for watching from Germany.
Yeah,
Yes,
we're in
New Year
Germany.
in Germany. Is it Würzburg? If it's Würzburg, I've been to Würzburg, and Würzburg is great, and everybody should go to Würzburg and see the residents. Basically, all of Germany is pretty awesome,
Yeah.
though. Germany is my favorite country. It's so nice.
Yeah.
I've only been to two other countries, Canada and Mexico. I need to go to
Dresden.
those.
Yes.
I'm wearing a Dresden T-shirt. Not the same Dresden, but, Dresden related. You remember how System Shock was one of the greatest PC games of all time, and then System Shock 2 came out and was also one of the greatest PC games of all time, and then the BioShock games came out, and they were fun and they were good, but they were no System Shock? Well, Prey exists now, and Prey is System Shock 3. It's amazing.
I think they were just giving away System Shock 2 on Good Old Games.
Yeah,
recently.
yeah,
think
I
they were-
have. And the remaster is coming out, and then they kickstarted. So there were two different kickstarters: one to do a remaster of System Shock 1 and 2, and then another to make a System Shock 3 with a bunch of the original Looking Glass guys. I'm not sure what the progress is on those, but Prey is basically System Shock because it's a first-person game with RPG leveling elements where you gain additional skills and stuff like that. It has the inventory system like from Resident Evil 4 where items take up a certain number of squares and you have to try to fit them so that there's the cumbersome. I mean, that's System Shock to the gills. The game's just a lot of fun. The main gimmick, in case anybody doesn't know, not to go too deep into spoilers, but just the basic enemy type. The most common base level nobody enemies are mimics, and they just shapeshift into objects. And so, like, one of the first times I really encountered one and felt smart was I'm walking around the lobby of the room and I turn around and there's a wet floor sign, and next to the wet floor sign there's a mop bucket, and next to the mop bucket there's a mop bucket. And so I shot those mop buckets, and sure enough one of them wanted to eat my face. You look for shit like that, a locker room with a locker with 3 shoes in it, or a table, a desk with 2 chairs. It's like there's some fucking mimics there. But that's not. There's other enemies as well that throw fireballs and make your heads explode. But it's a lot of fun. It's really cheap right now. It's only been out for a couple months, but I got it on. You can get it on sale for like $20-$30 a lot of times.
It's a shame though because it's one of those games that should be up there for like game of the year from what I've heard from a lot of people.
Yeah,
and
it really should be. It's a lot of fun.
Unfortunately, it's not because it didn't get the recognition that I got.
No, there it does. Award ceremonies can go fuck themselves. Like the Oscars are a joke. They're all. I mean, I obviously still watch them because I care, but I don't care what they pick because I know that it's all politics. You know, like if you play a gay person or a person who dies, you will get the Best Actor award.
Sure.
Like you look at like Milk and stuff like that. Like it's a guaranteed because of the politics of the industry. They want to promote that and whatever. I mean, that's fine. It is what it is. But Prey is a lot of fun. You can get it pretty inexpensively. It's hard enough to be enjoyable, but it's got interesting gameplay because of the level up mechanics. Like for example, just like with System Shock 1 and 2, you can go more combat oriented, or you can go like a hacker route and actually like hack the security turrets and have them fight for you and stuff like that. So it's good stuff. Good stuff.
Awesome. My recommendation is to watch the Toys That Made Us. It's I mentioned it earlier in the podcast. It is kind of like a documentary that goes over all the toys and how they came to be when you were a kid in the 80s. Sure. It kind of tells like how Barbie, came from was designed from basically like 2 other people, et cetera, et cetera. It's pretty awesome.
All of my G.I. Joes ended up bifurcated because they had the rubber band inside of them. And so I'd put their arms out, and then I'd spin them, and then let them go so they'd helicopter spin.
Sure.
And apparently you can't do that infinitely before rubber bands break.
No, and they also rot out, too.
Yeah, they didn't get a chance to rot out of mine. I wrecked them.
Yeah.
Darn, I killed them.
But that's it.
All right.
That's probably going to be it for our podcast. We'll see you guys next year.
Yep.
Appreciate you guys hanging out with the new year with us. Or before the last year. Whatever. Something.
And we'll see you in Milwaukee next Saturday. That we can agree on.
Yes.
Yes.
On next Saturday.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, guys.